Jose Monterrosa.
Hey, how are you?
Buenos dias. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. I
How's the
hear you
weather?
very low.
Okay, how's this?
Better, but not perfect. But I
Okay,
but I can I can understand what you're saying.
okay, good. How's the weather treating you out there?
It's very cold.
It's a very cold, drizzly day in Houston. Those
38
of you
degrees.
that are watching us from other parts of the country,
Yes,
to us, this is cold. This is 40s. Okay, for some of us that are from up north, they're gonna laugh at us to think that this is cold.
correct. Yes.
But enough about us. I've invited several attorneys who are in the business of criminal litigation, immigration, business, and real estate to tune in to today's show, and you're in for a treat. Let me tell you about our guest, Jose Monterrosa. He has worked for one of the biggest ad agencies in the country and has handled blue chip brands. Those are the big Wall Street brands that require a lot of science behind a lot of the multi-million dollar campaigns. Jose, tell us a little bit about your experience at working at that big ad agency.
Yeah. So yes, working with big agencies, right? Handling big accounts, pretty much global and national accounts. My work there has been more on the strategy side, in account services. But within that is the whole creative process, right? For any client, from research to conceptualizing, creating, producing, and putting it on the air.
Jose, is marketing a science or is it an art,
I think it's
in your
both. I
opinion?
mean, especially now with everything that people can see and experience with social media, data and numbers are a big thing. And if somebody is doing marketing these days, and they're not following what's happening on their social media platforms, or they're losing a big opportunity for sure.
Yes. And let's focus on lawyer marketing. Jose, what is the first step that is required in order to create an effective marketing strategy?
Like this is not exclusive of lawyers, but understanding your customer is obviously step number one on any practice. And understanding your customers may be approached different ways. I mean, you can approach it by qualitative means, quantitative means. It just depends on what you are trying to achieve. But if you don't have that basic understanding of the problem that you have and how customers are getting to you and how they are perceiving your product or service, then I mean you're again you're missing a great opportunity to get good insights, and that can allow you to basically set the path on how you need to approach that problem. At the end of the day, these are like very fundamental and basic steps that you need to take. Some people take it for granted, but it needs to happen.
In the old days, it used to be that brands were built on word of mouth advertising, satisfied customers that referred you to other friends and family,
Right.
to go to a certain business, a certain law firm, to get all your legal needs met. Is that still true today, Jose?
I think so. Yeah. Social media in a way is about that word of mouth. I experience it. You probably experience it. I'm
Yes.
pretty sure other businesses experience it. I mean, social media platforms are basically an extension of the old networking. Uh, I mean, before, and we still some do some of that, but back in the day, we will join a professional organization, get a leadership role, attend the events, participate, get a pack of business cards, pass it around, handshake, a lot of handshaking taking place, meeting people. That was the physical space. Nowadays, you can almost do the same thing with social media, especially on LinkedIn. I mean, for attorneys, I would say that LinkedIn is almost like an ideal platform.
Absolutely. And there are other legal platforms that attorneys can join to be able to create that funnel of leads of people that are looking for a particular expertise when they are searching for a law firm. Jose, in general terms, you may not have this particular statistics, but how many people are looking for a lawyer at any one time? You can
I
speak up
I
in general.
Yeah, I will take a big guess on that one, but I can tell you what I mean. if you if you set your platform on any or you set your presence on any digital platform and you allow time to gather data, you can get that information. Uh,
Okay.
the one that belongs to you, right?
Yes.
Now, there are third party services that can allow you to gather all that information. I mean, I can name just a few. I mean,
Why don't you go give us a
SEO
couple?
Rush is one of those. You can check what they basically what your competitors are doing,
Okay.
what type of traffic they're getting to their website, and then
Interesting.
you get a sense of what's going on, right? You get a sense of how much demand is out there and how much customers you may be losing because you're not doing the things that your main competitors are doing.
Exactly. Now, talk about brand strength. Why is branding important for any law firm?
Yeah, to me, in my world, branding is about awareness. And some people say that if you're not found in Google, then you don't exist. So just setting a footprint on digital spaces is a step number one for building that brand, right? There
Yes,
are other things that need to happen to build your brand, such as understanding your customers. How do your customers get to you? And where are the gaps? Now, to going beyond just building that brand awareness, you can move on to other things that are more on the qualitative side in terms of understanding what are the main benefits that customers are attaching to your service or to your competitor service, and what are the values that are associated with those benefits that in many cases are like the decision makers in many customers, right? We in marketing believe that you have attributes, you have benefits, and but you also have values. And at the end of the day, if we get people to be if we get our brand to be associated with those values, and we do that match, then I think that we are in a winning position.
absolutely. I have worked with different law firms over the years, and it was important for me to really understand as an employee inside the law firm before being a consultant to really understand the philosophy and the ethos of the brand and the stories that are repeated over and over and over again within the company as well as to customers of how the firm went over and beyond the call of duty
Right.
to be able to rescue a family, to be able to get someone out of a serious bind,
Yes.
to attend to other legal problems that they were faced with.
Yeah.
So
And
again, it's the messaging, is the storytelling that is critical.
correct. And I mentioned the thing about connecting attributes, benefits, and values, right? I mean, there's
Yes,
a whole theory behind that, and there's a whole methodology on how to do that. Uh,
give us a general
but
understanding of that, just
yeah,
for listeners that they can just get a sense of it.
right. So in very simple terms, and usually to get those insights, you will do your typical focus groups. You will gather people that are uh, and you can segment those groups, right, by existing customers and potential customers. You engage them in a mind mapping process uh, by basically just asking them, hey, what are the attributes associated with a law firm, for example, just to get like the big picture. and then you move on to see how it, what are the attributes that existing customers are associating with your law firm. And then at that point, you start a laddering process of asking why. Why is this important to you? Why is this benefit important to you? Why is this value important to you? That process can take maybe 30, 40 minutes. But if you gather people, maybe 7 or 8 people in a room, and you have your whiteboard, you have a moderator that is basically asking the key questions and making sure that he is able or she is able to grab the information that we're looking for, you can easily end up with a mind map, and that can tell you where exactly is where people or what are those cues that are triggering people to know more about you, and how they can engage even more with you. Of course, this requires some skills in understanding or making sure that you associate those attributes and benefits and values the right way. I wouldn't say that just anyone can do this. I mean, you have to have those technical skills to do it. But at the end of the day, you end up with a report that can give you some direction in terms of how you need to brand your product or your service.
Obviously, this is a service you provide.
Yeah, of course. I mean, we have done it multiple times, and you know what? I mean, more lately, we have used that technique to build those themes that companies or organizations need to exploit when it comes to social media. Storytelling nowadays is a big component of branding, right? What you
Yes.
say, what you share, how you engage customers on social media platforms, and even in offline platforms. But understanding what are those stories that you need to share with your customers, and how taking those stories can help you build a cohesive strategy that you can continue to use for 5, 6, 7, 8 months. Then maybe by the end of a year, you're going to be in a better position that you were a year ago.
And people love stories, don't they?
Absolutely. I mean, our whole society is built upon stories, right? I mean, we as humans are natural storytellers. We
And we
just need
tell
to think,
ourselves stories. Yeah.
yeah, we just need to think strategically how to share our company's story, right? People like
And
that.
yeah, and rather than telling over and over again the features and benefits of your service or your law firm, better to talk to your customer and find out what is it about your law firm that connected and filled that need that the customer was
Exactly. So
looking
that's
for.
when we get to the values. I mean,
Yes,
usually, so the hard sell of any marketing effort usually stops at the attribute level. But
yes,
for those that want to go deeper, they want to investigate, what are the benefits associated with those attributes. And then if
yeah.
they want to go even deeper to the more emotional level, then you try to understand what are those values that are associated with those benefits and those attributes.
For listeners, let me give you an example of what we're talking about here. Is if a new prospect calls your law firm and you don't return their call almost in real time or within an hour window, you have lost that opportunity because that customer or that prospect is going to think that you are not very customer service oriented. It's the actions that you take with the brand that begins to build that story in the customer's mind.
And once you engage those customers in a conversation, making sure that you are connecting with that person the right
Yes,
way, right? I mean, they have their own story.
yes.
And if you are able to decipher what that story is, and this is where the research is important, then you will be able to connect with those customers better.
Lawyers are in the business of removing pain. And so it's real critical that the words, that the message conveys through and through that you are there as an ally. Isn't it true?
Correct. And you know what? I mean, lawyers, I will say that they are not completely divorced of the things that I'm sharing right now, because especially someone that is in litigation, I mean, they will know how to win a case, right? How to present
Yeah.
your case. Uh, so this whole idea of connecting attributes, benefits, and values, they have to be familiar with that, because that's almost the exercise that they practice when they are in the courtroom.
Yes. And when you look at big brands like the Jim Adlers of this world, they have spent millions and millions of dollars to hone the brand, the messaging, all of the elements. I was looking this morning at Jim Adler's webpage, and he is an attorney that is an example of someone that has an entire team. I know some of the people that work there personally, and they are always innovating and coming up with new strategies because when you think of a hammer, you think of Jim Adler. They made that
Yeah.
association.
He
They
has been building on that idea for years,
absolutely. So
decades, I will say.
there's a neural association that Jim Adler means a big sledgehammer.
Exactly. Yeah. Now
And
he does take a very, so he has his own media strategy in place,
yeah,
right? I mean, it's more than just identifying the attributes, the benefits, and the values. I mean, he basically owns the space.
yes,
So I mean, by that, he is making sure that those awareness levels on those potential customers are high all the time. And you know, we've seen examples, similar examples here in Houston, of basically owning the space. I mean, what we usually know as a share of voice. I mean, what is your share of voice in the market, right? Oh, I have 40% share of voice. You're in a very good place. For
yeah,
those like your Jim Adler, I wouldn't be surprised that they are like at the 60% level.
yeah,
So the chances are that when somebody asks about attorney services, give me three names, his name is going to come up.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Talk about legacy media versus social media advertising.
Legacy media. A ver,
Legacy
tell me.
media, the old traditional media, print, TV, radio versus social media.
Well, obviously, we have seen a huge transition since the 1990s, from the old way of doing things to the new way of doing things. I think that at the end of the day, the values that we see nowadays are related to the levels of engagement that we are allowed to have with the different digital platforms. And with that comes access to data that probably before was extremely hard to get, or it was extremely expensive to get. Nowadays, the whole, you know, data analysis, data research, exploration, data finding, whatever you want to call it, is more accessible because there are multiple platforms, social media platforms, that can allow you to gather all that information. So, in that sense, I will say that there is a huge difference between what used to happen in the 80s, 70s, or 60s to what is happening right now in terms of marketing. The access to data and the fact that we can engage almost real time some customers has made a huge difference.
Let me give you an example. Engaging customers in real time. I once worked at a law firm that I monitored all the social media platforms, and there was a disgruntled customer in the lobby that posted a negative comment about how she had been waiting an hour. When I saw that, I moved heaven and earth to where she was taken care of right away. And and of course, you have highs and lows with customer volume at a law firm
Right.
because some people don't show up on time, some people don't have an appointment, they show up, and so she was impressed that we were monitoring our social media
Correct.
pages to take care of her complaint, of her needs. And then we kindly asked her to comment about how the problem was resolved. So customers don't have to be afraid of negative comments on social media, do they?
I don't think so, because at the end of the day, it's real, it's out there. So might as well engage, right? On those type of comments. The worst thing that can happen is that, somebody makes a comment just like the experience that you had, and I mean, nobody did anything about it.
Yes,
In your case, you took a very proactive role. Let me go find this person. Let me talk to this person. That is exactly the approach that needs to be taken when we are being provided with all these platforms that can allow us
the
to
squeaky
engage
wheel
customers
gets
that
the
way.
grease. The squeaky wheel gets the grease, don't they?
Yes, yes. So, but look, I mean, at the end of the day, is what you want to accomplish, and how serious you are about customer service, right?
Yeah,
Because if you live in the old world, customer service for you is a thing that maybe, I just need to talk to the person that is in the front desk, or the
yeah.
customers that are ringing that bell. But no, I mean, there's actually a whole world of people out there that are probably engaging your brand one way or the other. And then you need to make sure that you have the system and the platform that can allow you not only to listen and monitor those conversations, but also to act and be proactive, just like the way you were. Uh, in This is not going to be that different from a call center. Call centers have scripts of how they need to answer to a specific questions, right?
Yes.
You almost have to copy and paste that same approach for social media. At the end of the day, it's almost the same thing. I mean, we need to be ready to be able to manage those questions, those conversations that are being displayed for everybody on social media. And if we're not proactive about that, then again, we are doing a damage to our brand.
Jose, I know that you're in between customers, and you made a great sacrifice in joining us today. So we're going to continue this conversation next week. But I know you have to go. But give us like three things you can do as a marketer inside of a law firm, or if you are a marketer doing marketing services for a law firm. Three things that you should consider given the new environment of the social media marketplace.
Sure. I mean, some of these things I already talked about them. I mean, the whole. So whenever we engage customers that have marketing challenges, right, or communication challenges, we try to see the big picture of where the problem is, and what is the strategy needed to solve this problem, and maybe turn that problem into an opportunity. So it will just depend on the challenge that is being faced. But for the most part, I will say that we will engage customers on doing research, and on doing the planning, and then either have them do the execution with our supervision, or we can execute for them. And executing meaning, hey, this is the way we need to redesign your website. This is the way your stories need to be told on social media. This is the way that you need to communicate with news media. Uh, it just depends on what that challenge is, and we will approach it in a very customized way.
Jose, how can people reach you if they want more information on what you can do for them?
They
If they
can
like what they heard.
visit my website, imaginacommunications.com, or imaginacommunications.com for
Okay.
some people. Yeah. Or they can just send me an email. It's Jose, Jose, at imaginacommunications.com.
And if you have a specific question that you would like to ask Jose, we will bring him next week so
Yes,
that he can answer it for you. Uh,
absolutely. I'm very
Victor,
happy to do that.
yeah, Victor Escalante Live is about bringing thought leaders, coaches, experts, therapists to give you tips on how you can crush it in life and in the business world. So thank you for joining us, Jose. Stay warm out there and be safe.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us today.